Ugh. Hello. Hello. Yeah, alright. I haven't put any videos on here for a while, so I suppose I better. What's that? Blue thing. What's that? Alright. Yeah, so I thought I'd do something easy. Yeah. Well, I've been looking at some of these BookTube videos, and those book haul videos look very easy, so... Hi BookTube, this is BookTube Grubstlodger, and today we are drinking Yogi Tea, Green Energy. I really like this tea. It's an Ayurvedic blend with green tea, guarana, ginger and elderflower. And also, when you open the little sachets, they have special little yogi messages on them. This one says, "Recognize that the other person is you." Yeah, that is me. Cool. How did they know I was either going to be in front of a mirror or a camera? Ayurvedic. So, first we're going to start with the special books. The special books are the books I've actually paid full price for. So, starting with an illustrated guidebook to the Collegium Maius. Now this book is very important to me because it reminds me of the lovely trip I had to Poland. It was a really nice trip, and because they don't advertise very well, I was the only person on the tour. I also got this lovely cardboard astrolabe. I can work out when the stars set and rise and such before I spend money on a brass one. Also this month, I went to the Science Museum. I forgot my notebook, so when I was going there, this man basically collared me and made me buy his book. It's about gravity. He signed it. To Adam, live long and prosper. Love, Nicholas, me. You know what? I've had a look at this book. It's actually really interesting. I also went to see a film, and that film was the Hammer Horror version of Frankenstein, and afterwards there was a talk. And of course they were promoting their books. So I bought this, Making the Monster, the Science Behind Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I bought this book because it was the cheaper of the two books. It is by Catherine Harkup, who also wrote A is for Arsenic, which is a really good book about poisons. Inside, she put a little signing too, so this is another very special book. In fact, I really like what she wrote in this. To Adam, please take good care of any creatures you decide to build. She hasn't seen my... So that's the end of the special books. Now we're going to go to the less special books. The less special books are the books that I bought from a bookshop. They were all from Any Amount of Books. They sell second-hand books. They had a sale. I got Midshipman Hornblower, which is part of the Hornblowers. That's Moon of the Tiger, which I got because it had moons and tigers, and actually it's got quite an interesting first line. Most of us keep an oldest friend in storage against those emergencies when we must talk and aren't likely to find anyone else who will listen for long enough. Or we make BookTube channels. There's Fanny by the Gaslight, which, as well as being a funny name and a very good film, I just like because it seemed like a very London-y book, and I'm going to enjoy that one day. The Great Swindle. You can't read that. It's all about the South Sea bubble. I thought I'd read it so I can see what's going to happen to Bitcoin. Then I thought, you know what I need? I need to read books from lots of different places. Scholar Bunny would very much agree with that, wouldn't you, Scholar Bunny? So here are the books I got from that shop from other cultures. 32 Tales of the Throne of Vikramaditya. Rama the Steadfast, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That is about the three kingdoms in China. Tales from 1001 Nights. I was unsure about getting this because I thought, well, I kind of want all of the tales from 1001 Nights. And then I thought, well, let's read these first and see what I think of them. I've read one. It was all about a fart. Now, time for the not quite as special as the special books. Okay, the not quite as special as the special books. These are the books this month that I have bought online. First which, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2. Because I have a psychological inability of having the first one and not the second one, even though I've not read the first one yet, and I might not like the first one, but if I do like the first one, what if I haven't got the second one? Also, Christopher Smart, poet of his time, and the poetry of Christopher Smart. I got these because I really like Christopher Smart. I'll make another video about my Christopher Smart library one day. And that's the end of whatever category of books I called that. The next ones are the charity shop books. These are the charity shop books. I can't pass a charity shop without looking for books. I got Peter Pan, which I got because it's Peter Pan. I've got a copy of Peter Pan, but this is a different copy of Peter Pan because it has more Peter Pan in it, including the script, which I've already got. Got Daphne du Maurier, My Cousin Rachel, R.C. Sheriff, Journey's End. I wanted to see the film Journey's End, but it was too expensive to see, so I didn't. But I do like R.C. Sheriff because he wrote the Hopkins manuscript. I got the short stories of Saki. This was a bit stupid because it turns out I also have the complete works of Saki, so I don't need this one, so goodbye to that one. Storm of Steel. I got Storm of Steel because it's a book about World War I told from the German perspective, and I've never read a book about World War I from the German perspective, but then again I don't think I've ever read a book about World War I from the English perspective. E.M. Forster, A Passage to India. I got A Passage to India because it was recommended to me in a book I didn't even like called Fiction and the Reading Public. And then I got A Little History of the World because somebody I know on Twitter, I don't know them because they're on Twitter, but there's somebody I follow, was reading this. And they said it was really good. And then I saw it and it was 50p. And so why not? That's the end of the charity books. Next is the books I found on a shelf. Where I live, there's a free book swap place. But they don't make you swap them. The Life and Adventures of Peter Wilkins. It is an 18th century book I've never heard of. I like 18th century books. And I would like to be the person who walks around going, I not only have read 18th century books, I've read 18th century books I've never even heard of. The Crimson Petal and the White. And it says it's big, sexy and bravura. I'm some of those things. The novels of Thomas Love Peacock. Got Howard's End. S.E. Hinton, The Outsiders. Got Cold Comfort Farm, which is apparently very funny, so why not have it? Then The Birds, which I've read before. And next, we have the other last section. This is the other last section. These are the books that my landlord randomly leaves outside my front door. He left me this one, which is the Morrissey biography, with his own sort of description of who Morrissey was. It lasted 3 pages. And then this is a very big fat book about Goldcrest Films, who I thought I hadn't heard of, and then it turned out I had heard of, because they made a lot of really quite cool films, but then they spent too much money trying to make their films too good, and they went bankrupt. And my landlord left me these. He's a good landlord. So, let's look at the whole pile, shall we? Here are all the books I bought this month. If I read all of these, won't I be interesting and good to talk to at parties? What do you think, Mr. Scholar Bunny? But Mr. Scholar Bunny, you're the one that told me to buy them all. Well, sod you then.
Are you happy with yourself? Are you talking